Let's get right into it. Let's get into it, guys. This is episode 562 of the Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here, Tucker Carlson, the president of Hungary. And when he has these conversations, these international conversations, it just makes me think more and more that we're going to see him run eventually. Like 2028, we might just be seeing Tucker Carlson run. I mean, he's building the right relationships. He really is. And he's building up a presence in the heart of the American people every single time he sits down to do one of these interviews. It's just amazing to see. But in this conversation, there's two clips I have. I have one clip where the president of Hungary speaks about the Biden administration, the government administration, the U.S. government. But he makes sure to make the distinction between the government and the people, which is very aware because he is in Hungary, and you'd think that he's not really thinking about the people, but even he can see that right now the administration is not exactly working with the people in mind. So if you are at home and you've been feeling that and you think you've been seeing it, but a lot of people say you're wrong, just know that there are world leaders outside of the U.S. who are seeing the exact same thing, feeling the exact same way as you. So just let that be a little bit of, vindication there, little verification there that your feelings are on point. Now, in that clip, they're talking a little bit about something that I did not know in regards to tax dollars going into a situation in Hungary. And it's not tax dollars in a good way. Not at all. In the second clip, the president of Hungary makes very clear who can save the Western world. It's a great clip. It's a great clip. I'm bringing it to you guys right now. Before I do, of course, I have to bring it to the store. We have the Sold Not For Sale t-shirts. Of course, everyone knows that. We also have Public Enemy #1. If you don't know who this is, please Google the World Economic Forum. Please Google Agenda 2030. You'll understand right away why he is Public Enemy #1 in my books. And we also have the Certified Pure Blood shirt for those of you who survived the pandemic unscathed, untainted, but a clear warning to you. Over the next 6 to 12 months, you will be tested again. Please stay strong. And of course, the presidential mugshot, the man, the myth, the legend. And we may be hearing about this gentleman later on in this episode. We just might. All of that's available at IamCoachColin.com. And if you want 10% off, no problem. I got you. Just put in the discount code IamCoachColin. Done. All capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin, and that gets you 10% off. And if you've already chose to do that with us, thank you so much. Your support means the world to us. Now let's get into this clip.
As a fascist, and the Biden administration seems to believe it, the State Department anyway, the U.S. is the biggest, most powerful country in the world. Are you worried about being crushed by the United States?
It's dangerous, may I say. So we should not neglect the importance of that fact. When the United States administration does not like you or consider you as an enemy or having a backtrack, it's dangerous in international politics. So you are powerful, still #1 power of the world. So if you criticize somebody, we have to be very cautious how to deal with that. And now the Democratic administration does it regularly. So we have to be clear here that this is not the voice of America, it's the voice of the administration of the United States. Not all Americans has the same approach as the government. Like the Republicans, who are far closer on value basis to us. The previous president is friend of Hungary on the value basis, historically and wholeheartedly, so it's a real friend. So don't make a mistake to consider United States equal to the United States administration.
Yes.
And I think that difference is important because you have competition, a political system based on competition, and hopefully Trump will come back or Republicans will come back, and the relationship will be again very good. But now it's absurd. Can you imagine that United States government deleted the agreement between Hungary and the United States on double taxation but they still have the agreement between Russia and United States.
And that means that American citizens, for those who don't know what this is, American citizens who live and work in Hungary have to pay Hungarian taxes to your government, but also full federal taxes to the United States.
But the attitude as such, we are a member of NATO, we are ally to the United States, and we are worse treated than the Russians, you know. What's that about?
What is it about? It's what you just said. So it might be helpful to say it out loud. Now, the Biden administration spent U.S. tax dollars to campaign against you in your last election. They didn't succeed. You won, in a fair election.
Big money.
Big money. I don't think most Americans understand that their tax dollars went to defeat you in Hungary.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not, if you respect democracy, don't you let countries govern themselves?
It's definitely against all the principles we confess.
Yes, it is. Are you worried about...
So, that's odd. That's an odd thing to realize, that they were campaigning against him with U.S. taxpayer money. That's a very interesting thing. Because when you say campaigning against, there's a certain word I can't bring up on YouTube, but it does seem like you're getting involved in that election. I'll say that. It seems like you're getting involved. It seems like you shouldn't be getting involved, especially with money that's not really yours. It's the tax. It's we the people. It's their money. You're just using it for your own interest. You see, I think that's why he realizes that the American people have different interests than the administration, the current administration. I think it's actions like that. And then also, how he brought up that he's being treated worse than the Russians right now. His country is being treated worse than the Russians right now. Very, very interesting. And also, just so you know, this is a country that has made it very clear that they are very conservative. They've made it very clear that they're a nation that is Christian, under God, values family. Oh, if you heard how Hungarian government treats people who choose to have children, who choose to get married and have children, it would blow your mind. You get money from the government when you have one child, right? And then you have it's a loan that you can get at any bank. You go and get that loan. It's equal to, I believe, like a year's salary. You have to pay that loan back. If you have another kid, you don't have to pay that loan back for, I want to say, don't quote me, but 10 to 20 years. It's within that. It's a long time. Also, you don't have to. And if you have another kid, you do not have to pay it back. Like a country that's really invested in their people having families. It just shows how much the government values family. And it's no wonder you would see a certain administration that we've been talking about not take kindly to that, They're not flying the colors that they want them to fly, we could say. But let's get into the second clip. Second clip of which I love oh so much. Let's listen to this clip. They talk about a man who everybody's been talking about recently. Let's get into it.
So if you were in charge of NATO, if you were, say, Joe Biden, what would your next move be in the war in Ukraine? What would you do?
Peace, immediately. Call back Trump. That's the only way out.
Call back Trump.
Call back Trump. Because, you can criticize him for many reasons. I understand all the discussion, but, the best foreign policy of the recent several decades belonged to him. He did not initiate any new war.
Yes.
He treated nicely the North Koreans and Russia, even the Chinese, He delivered a policy which was the best one for Middle East, Abraham Accords.
Yes.
So that was a very good foreign policy. He's criticized that he's not educated enough to understand the world. But this is not the case. Facts count. And his foreign policy was the best one for the world in the last several decades I have seen. And if he would have been the president at the moment of the Russian invasion started, no, it would be not possible to do that by the Russians. So Trump is the man who can save the Western world. And probably the human beings in the globe as well. That's my personal conviction.
Can I ask you just to skip around for one second?
Amazing. The man who can save the Western world. You have to understand. I love this clip, and because I like Trump. You know what I mean? He's amazing. He did amazing things. And you hear a lot of people say stuff like that, but then when you hear a world leader say it, a world leader that has his head on straight, he's not like this wild guy. He really stands by his people. He incorporates law. I just told you about the family values that they have, how much they value family, how much they take care of people that have family. This guy's not this wild dude. He's a good leader. And even he can see that Trump is needed. It's very, very interesting. The man who can save the Western world. It really does feel like that. It really does at this point feel like that. You look at Canada, well, not even Canada. You look at Trudeau. You don't look at Canada. You look at Trudeau because he's the thing that stands out like a sore thumb. And you're like, that guy's completely WEF. Like WEF and proud. His prime minister or his deputy prime minister of finance is in the WEF and the Bilderberg group. He's completely taken, just completely captured. Nothing there. That's a huge part of North America. You know what I mean? You look at Europe. It's the same thing in so many different places. This president here, he's Orban is his last name. President Orban, he's surrounded by people that are similar to Trudeau. It's happening all over the place. There's another episode I'm going to be making about the liberal mindset, and he goes into that as well. It's wild. So when you do look at the options in terms of the race, Robert F. Kennedy, Vivek, DeSantis, Trump, I really do think of those as the options. And then Biden. And then Biden is ahead of most of these names that I just said. He's only being combated by Trump. He really does, Trump, seem like the only hope. It really does seem like that. It seems like there's one person, and you can argue Vivek and DeSantis, they seem like they want to operate with the people in mind. They do. But Trump's already done it. He's already shown it. He's already shown that he's going to operate for the people. It's not a guess. You don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder. With Vivek, you wonder. With the age, he came out of nowhere. There's a lot of people wondering. With DeSantis, there's talks of Soros money, Trojan horse. You have to wonder. With Trump, you actually don't have to wonder. And then again, I've said this time and time again. When they tell you that somebody is to not be trusted, that they're terrible, that they're racist, misogynistic, they're xenophobic, they're this, they're that, all of these different things. All you should be doing is putting mute on whoever's saying that and go look into that person yourself. And I've never seen someone as attacked as him. Never, ever. There's been no one else in the mainstream media that has gotten the amount of attacks as Donald Trump. And I know it seems counterintuitive to some people listening, but when I hear someone being attacked with all those things, I go the opposite way. I think not every single thing that they say could be true. So if not every single thing they say could be true, maybe I should just go find out what is true. And then you hear a world leader talking about how he could be the only hope, how his policies were actually good policies. And a lot of people who even love him don't even know about how good his policies were. You're voting for Biden? Who? Why? Why would you? There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of fun talk from the current administration. But there was a lot of fun talk with Trump's administration. But the difference is there were good things happening for people as well. A lot of waking up took place. A lot of people got pulled out of crappy situations, So that just threw me over the top. You hear a world leader saying that this person's needed. There would be no conflict if this man was here. And he says the same thing. And I believe him. I believe him because everybody knows that the keys to this conflict that's going on right now in Europe, right? Zelensky, all those guys. Everybody knows the key here. The key is the money that they're receiving. You say, okay, so instead of the money, we're just going to talk about peace. Ukraine would be like, okay, I guess we'll talk about peace. The only reason that Ukraine's talking about war is because they keep getting money. They keep getting billions and billions and billions of dollars. Why would they stop? They're like, we don't have to stop. We can keep buying things. We're not going to run out of ammunition. The only thing that they're possibly going to run out of are soldiers. And forget what you heard from the mainstream media. They're running low. And Russia has more. Just saying. Just saying. But like the video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And you heard it here first. Donald Trump is the man who can save the Western world. I love that he said that sentence. Amazing. Not you might hear that from someone who's from Florida, someone who's from Texas, someone who's from Idaho, you know? Maybe even the rare person from New York or California. But this guy's from Hungary. He doesn't even have to he doesn't have to think about the US every day. Kinda does. He deals with the government. But you know what I mean. I don't know. Again, like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't. We're making 1 to 3 videos a day. I don't know who else is doing that. And other than that, I am out.